And then what's the method in which you want to exit out as well? That's the next thing I was going to say. Like, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? All right. So you have options of how you can exit out of your practice. I think the three most consistent ones I've seen, you could sell to an associate.
Yep.
You could sell to a competitor. You could sell to private equity.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, that's
pretty
98% of sales right there.
Yeah. So
for us, at least
for us. I mean, there's other ones which are, outside the scope of healthcare businesses. I mean, there's like ESOP plans, and then there's
but for the people that we're dealing with, there's a 99% chance you're going to sell to one of those three.
Yeah.
Or the fourth, although I am getting a couple of these now. And this, I guess this isn't all that similar or unsimilar to selling to an associate, but one that I'm starting to see now, I just had two people bring this up in the last couple months, is they have kids that are becoming, doctors just like they are in the same field. And the kid's going to take over the practice and pay them out of the profits for the next 15 years.
Yeah. I mean, that'd just be an internal family sale.
Yep.
Which you could do. And a lot of people want to do that as well. I mean, obviously there's pros and cons to all these different strategies right here.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think I want to get into like the pros and cons.
No, we could do a whole half hour just on that.
Each of those, but just decide which one that you want to do. Now, I will tell you, if you want to get the most money and probably private and the fastest amount of money quickly, it's probably going to be a private equity deal.
Yeah, corporate private equity. Yep.
All the other ones are going to take a little bit of time to get established. You're most likely going to have to carry or do some seller financing in most of those deals. You're probably and you're going to have to stay on for a period of time, depending upon how much involvement you have in the production of the practice as it stands. In most cases, so those are just some pretty much non-negotiables that you're going to have to just ante up to. So, but that's the next thing is like, okay, how do I want to exit out? All right. And then I think from there, we just, you have to start then saying, okay, do I have a practice that someone would want to pay max value for?
Yeah.
And now you have to start internally looking at what makes a practice valuable to somebody else. So I think we've talked about this before, but we have a list of probably 5 or 6 things that are going to assure that you get a relatively good multiple.
Yes.
Depending upon the industry that you're in. Now, when I'm talking about industries, obviously there's different industries in healthcare. There's the medical industry, there's the like veterinarians, there's physical therapy, there's optometry, there's these different offsets.
Yes.
In the healthcare industry. So, and all of them are to some degree have the attraction of private equity in these industries right now. Meaning that
private equity exists in all of them to differing degrees, but it is there in all of them.
Yeah. And in case, you're living under a rock, basically private equity is private money and investment that forms management groups that go in and they try to buy as many practices as they possibly can to create a scenario where they can then automate it. They can, systematize it better, and then they can sell it to a bigger group.
Yep.
Called a recap. So that's the basic of it.
That's the short of it.
Yeah. That's so anyway. So the idea that you could, so now you're just like, okay, well, how do I want to sell this thing? And then what's going to drive the most value? Now, if you're just money motivated, like you want to get the highest value sale,